Good morning, students. Let us continue the International Financial Accounting. Here, finance is known as a art and science of managing the money. It includes financial services and financial instruments. So, accounting means preparing the books of accounts or keep maintaining the books of accounts to know the company is earning profit or loss. International Financial Accounting, they maintain some books of accounts like IFRS, IASB standards. International Financial Accounting Standard, it helps in providing the rules and regulation how to maintain the books of accounts. Like this only, International Financial Reporting Standard, it provide how to prepare the accounting transactions, how to record, how to maintain the books of accounts of the business in international way. So International Financial Reporting Standard is global language which are accepted by the almost all countries. So international IFRS will be maintained in the businesses. So financial accounting is a field of accounting concern, the preparing a financial statement for decision makers. So we prepare the financial statement to know whether the business is earning profit or loss. So here decision makers will come the all the stakeholders like stockholders, suppliers, banks, employees, government agencies, owners, customers, etc. So the person who is related to the organization internally or externally. Next, let us move on to the financial foreign trade. Here financial foreign trade, the is nothing but the trade between the different countries of the world. Trade between the two or more countries, like buying and selling, export of goods and services to different countries. In that, different types of foreign trade. First one is import trade, export trade, interport trade. Import trade, in the flow of goods in a country, means we are importing goods from another country, whereas export trade means we are in an outflow of goods from in a country, we are transporting our goods to another countries. Import means many times goods are imported for the purpose of re-exporting after some processing operation, is known as a interport trade. Basically, one country will purchase goods from some countries and sell that goods to another countries for profit making. It play an agent or a broker, we can say it as, to earn the commission or a brokerage charges or to earn certain profit. This is known as a interport trade. Okay, financial trading basically takes place for the mutual satisfaction of wants, utilization of resources. So the main importance of foreign trade is a division of labors or a specification, optimum allocation and utilization of resources, equality price, ensuring quality and standard goods, raising standard of living of the people. So these are being included in the foreign trade. Let us we learn about the balance of trade. The balance of trade is the differences between the money value of export and import of output in the economy over a certain period. So it is the relationship between the nation's import and export, and a positive balance is known as a trade surplus. Here ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ವೇ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ದ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ, ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ನ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್, ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಡಿಫಿಸಿಟ್. Whereas export is more than import, means we can say it as a trade deficit or trade gap. Trade deficit, trade gap ಅಂತೀವಿ. Next, Indian balance of trade. India is leading export of gems and jewelries, textiles, engineering goods, chemicals, leather manufacturers and services. In India, we are exporting these type of goods. In that, India is poor in oil and resources. Is currently heavily dependent on the coal and foreign oil imported for its energy needed. So we are exporting these goods and importing oil goods. In that way, other imported products are machinery, gems, and fertilizers. So, the main partners are European Unions, the United States, China, and UAE. So, they provide some oil resources and machineries, gems, and fertilizers. In recently, we are exported arms and ammunition so that from the Germany. So, and Russia we are exported. So in this way we are increasing our imports and exports. Next one is composition of a trade balance in that demand and supply. So here demand and supply, the cost of domestic products to be sold in international market. Next one is domestic businesses. Sound domestic policies are required to boost or obtain the production and international trade. Trade agreement. A trade agreement plays a bilateral agreement govern international trade, define the product, either the price is globally contest. External pressures. Many countries export items that face heavily competition in the international market. They result in the market segmentation and low pricing. Okay, low pricing will greatly affect on the balance of trade. Next one is exchange rates. For a nation with the low exchange rate values, balance of trade trended to remain the unfavor. Here one country currency is high, another country currency is low, means it big problem to the trading. Next one is, these are all the composition of trade balance. Let us we know about the determinants of the balance of trade. In that, first one is effectiveness of the foreign exchange rates. Here the way the foreign exchange rate affect the import and export has already been discussed in the value details or pay details. So next one is effect of the changes in domestic and foreign incomes. Here changes in national income in foreign countries as well as in the United States has an important effect on the net export. So we have to maintain a good relationship. Next one is conditions where the trade imbalance may be problematic. Here, those who ignore the effort of the long run trade deficit may be confusing David Ricord principles of the comparing advantages with the Adam Smith. So, principles of absolute advantages, ignoring the lateral principles of absolute ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಯರ್ ಒಬ್ಬರದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಲು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಂಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ there is a chance of forgetting some few more important points. Let us Fourth point is conditions where trade imbalances may not be problematic. So here small traders deficit are generally not considered to be harmful to either importing or a exporting economy, but it comes to the large trader. So in large trader, okay, we can consider only small trading activities, so that your income profit is also less, risk is also less. These are all the determinants of balance of trade. Next one is balance of payment. In balance of payment is a systematic recording of a national total payment to a foreign countries. So already we study about trade. Trade means exporting and importing of goods and services from different countries. But in payment means while exporting, there is a matter of exchanging of money. No, so in that balance of payment, it is systematic record. We are recording in financial accounting or a books of accounts by following the which procedure IFRS standards we are following. So here foreign country include the price of imports and outflow of capital gold. So along with the total receipt from the abroad, including the price of exports and inflow of capital and goods. Here, so that we are maintaining in books of accounts, payment of taxation from another countries are being also considered. Balance of payment account or any accounting record all the monetary transactions. Here in balance of payment we are recording all transaction between the countries and the rest of the world. These transactions include payment of countries' export, import of goods, services, financial capital, financial transfer. The balance of payment account summarize the international transaction for a specific period, usually a year, as a preparing in a single currency. Typically, the domestic currency for the countries concerned. So here maintaining the book of accounts will concern about the different currencies, different taxation policies, and then how they are affected to the our financial transaction. So we are recording each and every entries. We are converting one country currency into one country currencies or a different country currencies, so that exact transactions values, exact amount of payment will be find out in that composition of balance of payment. First one is current account. Current account records all receipts and payments from goods and service transaction with foreigners. These transactions are divided into three distinct categories. In that, goods and services, investment income, current transfer. Next, capital account. Capital account is made up of capital transfer like public service super annual benefit, debt forgiveness, or a inheritance fund. Here, intangible asset like intellectual property right such as patents, trademarks are be come in the capital account. Next one is financial account. There is a two type of capital movement: direct investment or a portfolio investment. So indirect investment in the ownership or a control of a business. Portfolio investment which are purchased by the company, stock or a bonds, both public and private. Next one is statistical disparity. Here disparity means you can say it as a error or omissions. To resolve the balance of currencies, capital or a financial account. Let us move on to the balance of payment equilibrium. Here equilibrium is that state of payment over relevant time period which makes it possible to sustain an open economy without serves the unemployment on a continuous basis. So in balance of payment equilibrium has been have a different types. First one is statistic and dynamic equilibrium. Statistic equilibrium, it is a distinct between the statistic and dynamic equilibrium depends upon the time period. Next, in dynamic equilibrium, condition of dynamic equilibrium for a short period of time that import and export is deferred by the amount of short-term capital movement and gold, and there are no longer this stability in short-term capital movement. So there is a chart between the how balance of payment will be done. First one is credit receipts do less by the debit, credit is do less by the receipts. So credit side ಅಲ್ಲಿ receipts ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ payments ಬರುತ್ತೆ, is equal to the balance deficit Guys, so here deficit if debit balance is more than credit balance, surplus if debit balance is less than credit balance. So this is a formula to calculate the balance of payment. In balance of payment is a flow of cash between the domestic currencies, all other foreign currencies. It includes not only the import and export of goods and services but also includes the financial capital transfer. There is already a financial capital market, so that in that we can exchange the currencies, we are trading the currencies. So balance of trade may differ from the balance of payment. Balance of trade may be differed between the difference between the exports and import of goods and services. Okay, this is known as the balance of trade and the balance of payment. Let us move on to the next topic. Next topic is about international marketing. International marketing occurs when a business directs its product and services to the consumer in more than one country. So we are providing goods and services to the more than one country. We are satisfying the different type of consumers in different countries. In international marketing is the multi process of planning and executing the concepts. So pricing, conceptions like pricing, promotions, and distribution of ideas, goods and services to create a change that satisfy the individual and organizational objectives. So the common marketing center such as input cost, price, advertising, and distribution are likely to differ dramatically in the companies in which the firm elects to market. So here is the international market which provide the different goods to the customers. It is a place where we can sell the different types of goods, not only goods, we can distribute the ideas also, flow of fund also will be there. So these are all the will comes under the international marketing. Let us move on to the advantages of international marketing. First advantages is opportunities for small businesses. There are opportunities for small business going global in an important opportunity. So main opportunities we can ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಂದ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ that is known as a main opportunity. We establishing different types of branches in different countries so that our goods will be sold in more countries. Alright, we can increase the goodwill, we can increase the profit. In India, any entrepreneur can use the internet to market goods and services to buy in a foreign market. So, online availability of goods or services are being available in the international marketing. Next one is finding successful foreign partnership. Here, another benefit of going global in enjoying by the companies have a different size, not just a small business. Many times your companies save money because expenses such as labor cost charges by the business partners overseas are cheap. We can take it as a India labor cost in different state availability of labor charges is also benefited. Or we can compare different states have different charging of labor. Okay, for example, take it a Karnataka and Bihar, so that in Bihar we can available the labors more at the cheap charges, we can say it, low charges we can say it, we cannot say cheap. Okay, and then diversification. The benefit of globalization is that the company can diversify its consumers base consumers base and the revenue stream. A company that markets only the Indian consumers is especially to the domestic economic need. So diversification means we are transferring different types of goods to the different countries based on their cultural and customers needs only. Next one is a business growth opportunity. Here profit advantages means we are doing business in different countries means risk is also high and the profit is also high, so that capital formation will be a long stream. Next one is a business growth opportunity. In business growth opportunity, multinational companies, okay, you can get it. International, what is the difference between international and multinational? So internationally, okay, we can sell goods in different countries without investment, but multinationally, different countries, different two or more countries ಅಲ್ಲಿ we have start a business, ಅಲ್ಲೇ separate company ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ strategy ಇರುತ್ತೆ, so that they manufacture their goods, utilization from their resources only, and then customers need ಪ್ರಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ we are selling the goods and services. But multinational, no. ಮಲ್ಟಿನ್ಯಾಷನಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಅವೈಲಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ we should be considered. In international means there is no investment opportunities in different countries. So home country only we are manufacturing and selling different countries in different countries. So this is the differences. Okay, let us move on to our advantages topic. In that we are discussing about the business growth opportunities. So multinational companies are getting increased interest in a number of developing countries as the income and population are rapidly rising in the country. Next one is competition. Here competition may become a drive force behind the internationalization. A protected market does not normally motivate the companies to seek their business outside to the home market. So here how the competition is advantageous to the international marketing means, okay, here different type of products, the variety of business peoples are come, so that we can analyze our product with the another product, how they benefit, how they useful to the customers, whether the customers are accepting or not, so we can compare. So in that way we can know what are all the disadvantages, weaknesses, or a greatness, or a advantages in our product. Next one is government policies and regulations. The government policies and regulation may also motivate the internationalization. There are positive and negative factors that could cause the internationalization. Many government gives number of incentives, positive support to the domestic company to export or to invest in the foreign countries, so that in this way the government will be helpful to the small business holders or a small scale businesses by giving the different subsidiaries, okay, by encouraging them so that they can grow their business. Next one is monopoly. A single person, a single power may arise from the such factor monopolization of a certain resources like patent right, okay, technology advantages, product diversification. Through these only we can make our business effectively. Next one is product decision. In product decision, a local product is available in portion of a national market. These product may be new product that a company introduced using a strategy or a product that is distributed exclusively in that region. A national product is a one that in the context of particular company is offering in a single national market. So in this way we can design the product. The product is collection of physical, psychological services or a symbolical attributes that collect the yield satisfaction, collectively yield satisfaction. So product design means we are making product so that the customer will be satisfied in that product, and then we are making that so that we can earn the profit. Okay, there is a different types of product design. First one is market segment decision. In market segment decision, the first product design is the market segment decision, because all the other decisions such as a product mix decision ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, product specification ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, positioning or a communication decision depends upon the target market. Target market means where we sell the goods and services, so that we are fixing the standards, so we have to achieve that standards. Next one is product mix decision. Here, product mix decision ranges of associated products that yield large scale revenue. When a marketing together, then it may market individually from the others. Next one is product specification. Here, product specification, these involves specification of each product in the items in the product mix. It includes the factors like styling, shape, size, other attributes, and the factors like packing, labeling, so that they can attract the customers, multiple customers. First, there is some rule in the customers like first impression is the best impression. While deciding packing design only, few of the customers will fall for the products. After the utilizing that product, how effectively work on the customers, so that in these way we have to attract the customers through different labelings and the content information also. Okay, by providing the what are all the items we are using on the your product, so that it can be effectively being sold. Next one is positioning and communication decision. Here, positioning is a image of the project for the product. For example, toilet soap. Toilet soap may be positioned as a baby soap, beauty soap, a detergent soap, a freshness soap, or a skincare soap. In these way, so that we can make a clear understandable uh, pictures that will be helpful to the customers. Communication to promote promotional messages designed for the product. These are all the different types of product decisions. Let us move on to the international product life cycle. So okay, in regular product life cycle there is a one diagram, that is so this is sales, this is profit, stages of product life cycle. ರಫಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, so in these diagram, the product life cycle stages explain the growth and decline of the revenue and profit associated with the product or a services. Many companies, in addition to marketing and sales manager, have a product managers who are responsible for the specific product and services. Here, international product life cycle, they have the three stages. First one is new product, mature product, and standardized product, so that it will be explained the how they effectively been managed. First stage, in new product. In new product stage, when a company in a developed country want to exploit a technology breakthrough by launching a new innovative product on its home market, such market is more likely to start in a developing nations. So next one is mature product. Here, maturing product, the exporters to market in advanced countries further increase through the time, making it economically possible, sometimes politically necessary, to start a local production. The product design and the production process becomes increasingly stable. Next one is standardized product. Yes, standardized product, during this phase the principal market become saturate. The downfall. Next one is innovators originally comparatively advantages based on the functional benefit has proceeded. The firm behaved to focus on the reduction of process cost rather than the addition of the new product features. So new product development, generating of a new production ideas, screening of new ideas, the concept development, testing, business analysis, product development programs, test marketing, commercialization, and evaluation are being combed into the international product life cycle. Let us move on to the next topic, that is international pricing decision. Here, pricing the product services in international marketing is not only a easy decision. The price is in a part of functioning of the cost. The foreign exchange rate is an important determinant of a company. Cost of production when borrowing capital to be do the business. The cost of that capital can be very influence in the price decision. So that the price in the international market, a product position on its life cycle curve, the firm position on its life cycle curve no longer remain scared, add more complexity to the price decision, so that we can change the life cycle of the product. So price ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, increase ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, okay, it depends upon the product life cycle only. Next one is in that, first one is they have firm life cycle and export marketing. In firm life cycle and international marketing operation, a firm moves from the export marketing stage to the international marketing to multinational marketing. Here export means we are sending goods and services to the another countries. International marketing means so that we are placing our goods and services in different countries. Multinational means we are only establishing different various countries, in other countries investments are being made to in that countries. So finally the gradual to the global marketing. Globally means all over the world. We should start a businesses, should provide goods and services to globally means all over the world, across the world. Next one is export marketing. Export marketing represent an entry mode for any firm in its influence. So international marketing process, at this stage the firm has neither the requisite marketing experience nor the accompanying the financial disposals. So we have to keep in mind how the effective the finance are being made. Next one is factors of pricing policies. In that we have internal factor and external factor. In internal factor, a firm has certain objectives, long term and immediate in pricing. Influence the price like corporate and marketing objectives, image of the firm through pricing, the basic characteristics of the product, the price elasticity, cost of manufacturing, composition of the product line, use the patent rates. So here these factors influence only within the organization. So what are all the factors are being affected of the pricing only within the organization. Within the organization they will come the corporate or marketing objectives ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, image of the company, so that only we can increase the sales, characteristics of the product, price elasticity, changing in the prices, cost of manufacturing, composition of the product line, use of the pattern and rate. So these are all coming in the internal factors. Next one is external factors, outside of the organization, has the nature of economy and the nature of competition, purchasing power of the consumer as well as the consumer behavior in large sense, includes the market characteristics, buyers behavior, extent of bargaining. So bargaining ಬಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒಂದು ಫನ್ನಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಬರ್ಗೈನ್ ದ 10 rupees ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ 10 rupees ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಬರ್ಗೈನ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ 10 rupees ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ದ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟರ್ ಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್, legal aspects ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, social consideration, making accepting the cultures, welfare of the countries. So it will become under the social consideration. Price cartels. So these are all been external factors which influence the pricing policies. Let us move on to the methods of pricing policy. There is a different types or a different methods of pricing policies. In that, cost oriented pricing policy. So cost oriented pricing policy have two types, four types. First one is cost plus method. Rate of return. Next one is break even pricing. Next one is marginal costing. So here cost plus pricing, the price method assumes that no product are sold at the low cents since the price covers the full cost incurred. Next one is rate of return. Rate of return, you can say it as a target pricing. Desired rate of profit on the capital employed is determined the firm total cost of production plus the total desired profit at the rate of interest. There is a formula, okay, per price per unit. I will mention here. Okay, it is very topical. Okay, I will mention here. Price per unit is equal to total number of units produced. So in this way we are being calculated. Next one is break even pricing. Here no profit no loss. The break even analysis helps a firm to determine at what level of the output the revenue will equal to the cost of assuming the certain sales price. Here margin contribution is equal to, there is a formula to of calculate the contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. So in break even point also there is a formula. Break even point is equal to fixed cost plus profit volume ratio, so that we got to know how much price of the product will be decided. Next one is marginal cost. Marginal cost is also known as a incremental cost pricing. This price is fixed on the basis of additional variable cost associated with a additional unit of output. The cost of production and the sales on more unit, that is the last unit, is taken as a basic for the pricing under this method. So these are all the various types comes under the cost oriented pricing. Next one is demand oriented pricing policies. Here demand oriented pricing policies based on the demand of the customers only we are fixing the prices. So here two types of pricing policies will come, that is skimmed pricing and penetration pricing. In skimmed pricing, this strategy is adopted where there is no competition in the e-market or a new product has some exclusively characteristics. Such price continues to be high till the competitors began to enter the field. So, product introduced ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ these pricings have more prices are being put to the product with the fear of ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ನ ಬೇಗನೆ ಗೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಫಿಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೈ. ಇನ್ penetration pricing, it offers a very low introductory price to speed up its sales and their widely to the market base. Low prices are being used as a major tool for the rapid penetration. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಕ್ತಾರೆ ಇನ್ penetration pricing because to attract the various customers so that they can purchase. while introduction stage, while developing stage increase ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ these are all the techniques of fixing the prices in the demand oriented pricing. They come skim pricing and penetration pricing. In skim pricing, prices of the product will be high. In penetration pricing, prices of the product will be low. Next one is competition oriented pricing policy. Here competition oriented pricing policy is fixing the prices of their product after a certain consideration of the competitors price structure, so that competitors ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ prices, based on that they are fixing the prices. Here going rate pricing, different types of pricing: going rate pricing, pricing over competitor level or discount pricing, pricing over a competitor level or a premium pricing. So in going rate pricing, this method is used when the firm is new in the market or when the existing firm introduces a new product in the market. Okay, this is known as a going rate pricing. Next one is pricing over a competitor level or a discount pricing. In discount pricing, when the firm determines the prices of its product below the competition level because the low the prices of the same product of the competitors. So in this discount means we are providing some offers, discounts. So 10 rupees is the competitor's product and we are fixing the prices of the product 8 rupees, so that more customers will be attracted to our product. Next one is premium pricing. In premium pricing means dead opposite to the discount pricing. That is where the firm determine the prices of its product above the prices of the same product of its competitors. So we are making the increasing in the product of the prices of the prices of the product of a company. So in this way there is a different types of pricing policies. It is very important topic. You study or not, it is very important in different areas like skim pricing, next one is penetration pricing. These are all very common topic which will be arise in different areas of pricing policies. Let us discuss about the international distribution decision. Here now we are making manufacturing the goods and services. So how we are transferring our goods and services to the different types of customers. So here geographically distance involved between the international marketing can be created as a communication breakdown among a market awareness of consumer needs, setup of distribution mix with a paper channel. Here distribution play an important role in the implementation of international marketing program as it enables the product and services to reach the ultimate customers. An international marketing firm has the option of managing its distribution function. So here ಯಾರು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಸೊ distribution channel is managed by the international market. So here indirectly through the mediators are a suitable combination of the two. There is a different channels. First one is direct distribution, indirect distribution. Indirect distribution further classified based on whether it is international marketers make the use of domestic intermediaries. Here international marketers therefore they can make a use of the following type of intermediaries. So here domestic overseas intermediate, with the help of intermediaries only they can sell the product. First one is domestic overseas intermediaries. So the commission buying agents, country controlling buyer agent, export management companies, import merchandise export agents, or a peg backing. For next one is foreign intermediaries. In foreign intermediaries they come foreign sale representatives, next foreign sale agencies, state training companies. Harbin comes under the international foreign intermediaries. Next one is direct distributions. Here direct distribution means the option available to the international marketers to organize the direct distribution, including the sending the missionaries schemes representative board from the headquarters, setting up the local sales branch officers so that the foreign countries for a region, establishing a sustainable board, enlightening the joint ventures, or furnishing for mercantilized marketing, so that through these only the direct distributors so directly distribute our goods and services to their customers. These are all the distribution channels which are helps for the international business process. So here ends this chapter. Thank you everyone for listening the various videos.